we go. Welcome everyone to the Accelerator Career Group call. I'm so excited to welcome you. I am the host. If we have not been introduced yet, I am Mindy Stern, and I am honored to work with the Accelerator Career Group. We are celebrating 5 years in June. We just celebrated 5 years. We began the group in June of 2020. And if you all remember June of 2020, we were in the height of the COVID pandemic. Everybody was losing jobs. Everybody was looking for work. And I began a small group with a group of co-founders. And we have gone on to become a wonderful, sustainable group. We started with about 6 people, and we're at well over 700 now. If you would like to join our private LinkedIn group and be part of this very unique job seeking community, we're going to put the chat in the chat. We're going to put the link is right there. You're welcome to join us. I'm also very happy to connect with you if we're not connected yet. And if this is your first time on an Accelerator call, please put the number 1 into the chat so we can welcome you properly. Kathy Putman, welcome. Welcome. She's a first timer. Let's see who else. Jonathan, welcome. And Paul Sayers, did I say that right? Is it Sayers, Paul? Paul Sayers? Oh, yes, thank you. Welcome. If you have not yet put your LinkedIn URL and the kind of job you're looking for into the chat, this would be a perfect time to do that. So please put your information right into the chat so everyone can see it. And if you don't know yet, if you haven't been on enough Zoom calls, in the upper right corner of the chat are 3 little dots. If you click those 3 dots, you can save that chat, and that way you'll have all the information that you need. I suggest doing it like at the beginning and then at the end to make sure you have everything in there. So I am thrilled to always have our Career Accelerator events free. They're always free to attend. We want to disseminate enough and as much information as possible. It's our goal to help you, to get you the strategy that you need to do a great job search. And so I'm thrilled to be able to talk about 2 upcoming free events. The first one is going to be August 12th, so mark your calendar. I began noticing about 8 months ago, so many of my clients were not only job seeking, but also looking to create a side hustle or consult or do something else on the side to kind of future-proof their career. And so I developed this program called Be Your Own Boss. And I'm doing an information session on August 12th so that you can learn what it might take to go from employee to entrepreneur, or from colleague to consultant. We're going to explore all of that on August 12th. It's at 11 a.m. The link is available for you now. You can join us. You can register for it right now. And that's August. On September 9th, I'm honored to tell you that Shelley Piedmont is joining us. And she's going to introduce the UMAP system, which helps clarify your strengths, values, and skills to create a career where you can thrive. Registration is open for both events, so please register so we reserve your seat. For those of you who have been on our calls, you know that I always collect golden nuggets during our calls because I pride myself on getting speakers who really know their stuff, and Deanna is no exception. I'll introduce her in a moment. But so what I do during the call is I grab golden nuggets, beautiful words of wisdom that we hear either from our presenters or from our community, because you all have so much experience and skills. I want to hear from you as well. If you hear a golden nugget that really speaks to you and you want to remember it, just stick it in the chat. That's going to help me. I'm going to create a post for tomorrow so that anyone who missed this call can go to the post and see it. We're also recording, and I will put the recording in our chat and in the post tomorrow as well. So if you hear something that is earth-shattering to you or makes a difference to you, please put it in the chat, and that hopefully will end up in our post for tomorrow. So I am excited to introduce Deanna Russo to our group. We are both Deanna and I are big advocates for the know, like, and trust networking strategy. And Deanna, her claim to fame is that she grew her network on LinkedIn from 400 to 31,000 using her strategy. She's going to share some of that strategy with us today. So Deanna, without further ado, I'm going to send over the mic to you. And let's see what we can learn, and maybe we can all get to that 31,000 number.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what? Before we even start, you don't need 31,000 people following you on LinkedIn in order to be successful here. You need the right people. So we'll start with that. So building a sustainable strategy based on the leverage up triangle, because no strategy is any good unless it's sustainable. So let's start with a little bit of an intro. And I won't take a lot of time because you can just go to my LinkedIn profile and find out all about me. But if you have never seen me before, hello, how are you? Nice to see you. I'm Deanna Russo, and I have been active on LinkedIn here for the past 7 years. I've been a member of the LinkedIn community for, let's see, 2008, so 17 years. For 10 years prior to that, 7 years, I was treating LinkedIn like a big online resume, because every so often you change jobs and you change your experience and nothing else changes. And then I'd pop in and then pop out. Well, that all changed in the summer of 2018 when I started working for a small IT startup in Columbus, Ohio, because they wanted me to use LinkedIn in order to bring in new business. So I said, okay, I've had this profile for all these years. Let's see what we can do. And they said, well, wait, we want you to write up a script. And you see where this is going. We want you to write up a script and then direct message people. And I call it now spray and pray. Yeah, no, because no one wants to get pitched. No one wants to answer that front door. I just happened to look at my front door while I was talking about this. Answer that front door and have someone saying, hi, I'm a vacuum cleaner salesperson. Would you like to buy this really awesome vacuum cleaner? No, no one wants a pitch like that. And to job seekers, which all of you in this room, or most of you are, because I see a couple friends here, job seekers, it is not just a place to use while you're job searching, because your networking could start now and then go on for years and years. I just recently became a job seeker myself about a month or so ago. And so there was no way that I was going to do my job search without putting it out into the atmosphere, taking my megaphone and saying, hello, I'm looking, here's what I'm looking for. So that's what you should be doing as a job seeker. You should be out there. So let's go into LinkedIn, because that's all why you guys are here. It is the world's largest professional networking platform. Do not let anyone tell you it's not. There are over 1 billion people on LinkedIn. Now, whether all those 1 billion people are super active like me and Jeff and Mac and Mindy, probably not. But it is a large networking event. And so that's the way I want you to treat it. It's not just something that you go online occasionally. It is a big networking event. Here's what to keep in mind. We are here to build relationships. I may be saying that quite a few times here. It is one big networking event. We're here to get to know each other. We are here to get to like each other. And we are here to get to trust each other. That means professional, but that also means peel away anything personal that you feel ready to share. Because in the end, we're all human. So we're not on LinkedIn to be sold to. Nope, we're not. We're not on LinkedIn to be automated. If anyone is using AI to copy and paste content or copy and paste comments, I say, red light, stop what you're doing and be human. We need more humans on this LinkedIn professional networking platform. So show up as yourself, write as yourself, be yourself, because no one wants to be one person online and then another person face to face. So be the exact same person you are online when you're face to face, and vice versa. The only way to get to know people on LinkedIn is to show up consistently. Consistency is huge here, huge. And that doesn't mean you have to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have 3 kids. I have a house. I am married, happily married. I should have hastened or put happily before that. Anyhow, but I am busy, very, very busy. I don't have the time to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but I make the time in my calendar because I know it is the place to be. I know that these people are people that I need to keep showing up for and keep building relationships with. So consistency is really key. And I have said this before, I will say it again, including in my newsletter tomorrow. LinkedIn is not a sprint. It is a marathon. You have to be in this for the long haul. There is no magic sauce. Only a small percentage of people, and you know what? I have been doing this presentation for a while now, and I continue to say, and hopefully I'll be changing that word. Only a small percentage of people are actually creating content on this platform. So let's change that number. Let's change the word in this presentation to a large percentage of people are creating content on this platform, because there's no reason why you shouldn't. The LinkedIn triangle that worked for me when I pivoted away from that cold call pitch strategy and I came into that light bulb moment, these people don't know me, these people don't like me, these people don't trust me. So I said, let's treat this like a big networking event. And I will work on my profile to make sure that it is optimized and people get to know me through what they read online. And then I will work on my engagement. And back then, you just commented. Comment. And you comment as yourself. And you don't comment with great post or anything like that. We're getting it into all that. I'm jumping ahead. But you create content to create that trust. So they get to know you through the profile. They get to like you through the engagement. They get to trust you through your content. Know, like, and trust. Boom, it's a big networking event. And here's another way to look at it, because it's not one and done. You don't just work on your profile once and then you never touch it again. Constantly tweaking it. The same thing goes with commenting and same thing goes with content. There's an overlap and together we leverage up. And the logo. Now, profile. Let's start with that first. Do you want to stand out or do you want to blend in? I just watched this movie over the weekend with my husband. And I got to this scene and I'm like, there's my picture from my LinkedIn presentation. And he goes, why do you use that? I'm like, because look, all of these robots look the same. All of these robots look the same. Same thing goes on LinkedIn. Everyone on LinkedIn looks the same. And your goal is to stand out from everyone else. What do you do that is different from everyone else? How awesome are you? And each one of you are awesome, amazing. And it's about finding exactly what you do that is much better than every other applicant who is going for that job. So you need to stand out. And I did all of that without even looking at my notes here, so I want to make sure I'm on the right track. So let's go back to the 1 billion people. Again, every one of those 1 billion people are robots here. So when the first part is when we're working on the profile, people look at that picture. They do. They look at your picture. It should be taken within the past 1 to 3 years. Professional head and shoulders shot or professional looking. Not every single person has $250 to $450 in their back pocket to invest in a professional picture. I get that. But these phones are pretty awesome at taking pictures now. So just have someone else take the picture of you, get dressed up like you would for an interview. There you go. Head and shoulders. We don't need to zoom in and see your nose hairs. We don't. No, we don't. We don't need to see the color of your eyes. We can actually see everything, head and shoulders. 60 to 75% of you should be taking up that circle on LinkedIn. I'm sure that that mountaintop that you're standing on, that picture is really pretty. I'm sure that mountaintop is absolutely gorgeous. But if we're not seeing you, then we're not making that connection with you. So make sure that it's head and shoulders. And your family is probably the most beautiful family that ever walked the face of the earth. I'm absolutely positive they are. And I'm sure your husband, wife, your significant other is absolutely amazing too. But let's stay away from anybody else in that picture. Don't need selfies. Please do not use AI to generate your LinkedIn profile picture. And let's see you, just you in there. Okay, got it. Now we can move on to something else. Do you have your job title in your LinkedIn headline? Change it. And what I mean by that is it should be a phrase or a series of phrases that makes you stand out. Now, perhaps some people might be saying, well, if I'm looking for X, Y, and Z in my job search, shouldn't I have that in there? Yes, you should. And I have built mine in there as I am also a job seeker as well. But if it just if it just says digital marketing strategist, and that's all that it says, what makes that digital marketing strategist different than this digital marketing strategist? Nothing. Not on LinkedIn, not when you're just seeing that headline. You can go into detail on your differentiator in the about section, because really that is the 2,000 characters that you have to tell your story. Here, you have 200 characters to use, but the first 45 characters travel with you. They travel with you when you comment, when you post. So lead with the most important. You might be a wine lover. You might be a dog lover. You must absolutely love cats. I'm sure you do. But don't lead with that, because the jobs that you're applying for are only going to see that you're a wine lover, and they're not going to see that you are amazing at what you do. So lead with the professional. Now, how did my mouse just completely disappeared into the hemisphere that is my 3 screens. Boom. Okay, here we are. Engagement. What is strategic engagement? So when I talk about engagement, I talk about commenting, because no one goes into that networking event and just does. No, we have conversations with people. We talk to each other. We are humans, and we actually create conversations. Same thing goes here. When I'm working with my clients on LinkedIn, I teach them strategic engagement, because it's essentially going to those conversations and that networking event, and you already know what they're talking about. You already know the subject of the conversations, because you see a sign that's hanging right there. And there you're walking up to that conversation. You're like, these are the people I need to be talking to. That's all about strategic engagement. So that's how I teach that. But I will say that commenting is so super important on LinkedIn, because it's all about visibility. And you cannot create that like factor if you are not having conversations. I am sure that Carrie is a really awesome, amazing person. Absolutely positive. But if she just reacts to my post, and sorry, Carrie, I'm picking on you because it's the first one I see in chat. If she only reacts to my post with a thumbs up, I don't really get to like her as much as I would saying, oh my God, I totally relate with this. This is a story that happened to me. And she doesn't have to write a whole page worth of text. A couple sentences will do. Just write the way you talk. Now, content. Let's talk about trust. Let's talk about getting more people over to your profile. And you can do that when you comment and when you post content. And like I said, there's just a teeny tiny amount of people that are creating content. So it's time to showcase your personal brand. I really should have used this graphic when I was announcing my job search. I'm like, that megaphone is perfect. That's the way you should be creating content. You should stand on that rooftop and be proud of every single word you're putting out there. But I don't want people to be scared of it because, oh my God, I'm putting it out there. What do I say? What do I do? Think about social media as a very short attention span. Very short attention span. Now, Mindy remembered that I put up a post yesterday about all of these signs that I took a picture of over the weekend saying northeast. And that's awesome that she remembered it. Not everybody is going to remember every single thing that you put out there. So when you talk about content, it's about you showcasing what you have to offer, written by you, but don't overthink it. That's what I mean. Don't overthink it. If it gets 20 impressions and 2 reactions, that's 22 more people that have seen you than if you didn't post anything. Take it like that. Baby steps. It's all about baby steps. When I was starting on LinkedIn, starting creating content, I had 400. That's all I had, 400. And back then it was connections. Jeff, remember those days? It was connections. It wasn't followers. That was before LinkedIn had said, oh, let's do followers. And then you can save your connections. So everyone has to start someplace. That's why I share that. You have to start someplace. And that's more people that will see you than have seen you if you're not doing it. So who do I want to start conversations with? Who am I trying to attract? These are all questions you need to be asking yourself. What are the conversations I'm having offline, and how can I incorporate those into LinkedIn? Because chances are, if Mindy and I are having a Zoom call or a phone call, and she's like, oh my God, that's totally right. You're totally on target with that. If she resonates with something that I'm saying, then chances are I'm going to resonate with a whole bunch of people on LinkedIn. Same thing. Take the offline conversations and bring them online. Take us behind the scenes and tell us the stories. If you have stories that you would love to share in an interview, tell us here. Tell us on LinkedIn. Tell us why you are so much better than that other, because you can tell the story. Take us behind the scenes. Take us into that office. Take us into that project that you were working on. Because that's the only way that we're going to really get to know that you are more than just that job title. Tell us the stories. People are on LinkedIn to learn, to grow, to build relationships. And you make that much easier if your content relates to the people that you are trying to attract. So it's all about cultivating that content. And the reason why I put all these question marks in here is if you want more people commenting on the content that you're putting out there, ask us a question. It doesn't have to be 5 questions. It doesn't have to be 10 questions. It doesn't have to be completely overwhelming to every single person who's reading the post. 1 question, 2 questions will do. It brings out the commenting when you ask a question. So, and you can start it that way, but keep in mind, I started to say create, keep in mind that how you start that post is what people see in that feed. The goal is always to click see more. Okay, so if you're just starting with a post or even your about section, I'll let that slip too. When you start with me, check me out, I'm amazing. Yes, you are. But we can't relate to what you're putting out if all you're saying is amazing. So relate to us. Talk about the scenario. Talk about something that's going to get us attention. Our attention. Hook us in. Because when LinkedIn sets up a post as click this to see more, and the same thing for the about section, you need a hook at the beginning of that. You need something that is in the water and it has the best bait in the world on it. And that fish is swimming across that pond to get that hook, to get that bait on that hook. And then you're going to reel them in with the rest of your post. So how you start it is very important. So there it is, profile, engagement, and content. And Mindy and I talked about my time limit, but I have been just rambling, I think. So I'm just going to show what this is all about one more time. And I wrote a chapter in a book. So if you want to go to Amazon, it's there. It's called The Complete Small Business Growth Guidebook. I wrote chapter 17. There are so many other awesome authors in here, but feel free to check that out. And there's an old slide. And there is QR code. So I'll leave that to all of you to ask and answer questions. And I'm going to grab a drink of water and stop sharing as soon as my mouse, I'm going to find my mouse. There it is. Boom.
There you go. Thank you so much, Deanna. You have a ton of energy, my dear. That was awesome. I was thinking when you were talking, and we're taking questions. I'm just going to give you all a moment to think about your questions for Deanna. And when you have your question, you can either just raise your hand like this so we can find you. Hold on. I'll raise my hand as an example so that you come to the top of our screen. Or you can put it into the chat if you're shy, but we hope that you will say hello. But what I wanted to say, Deanna, is that when you talk about commenting, I have met some of the best people just through commenting. And when I became more comfortable on LinkedIn, when I first started on LinkedIn, I was very shy. I am a complete introvert, just so everyone knows. So for me to like jump into the water and say, hey, I'm here, was hard. So what I started to do before I started posting was commenting. But I met the most amazing people who were having dialogue with me. And so even like for Jeff Young and myself, we started with comments, right? We started commenting on each other's posts, and he's fabulous at commenting on my posts to this day. But Brendan Miller and Kenneth Wang, all these folks that are very active on LinkedIn, I just started adding comments to their posts. And I think that's definitely the way to go, especially for people who are hesitant about what can I say? What can I add to this conversation? Because there's a lot of information out there. A lot of smart people are on LinkedIn. So if you're feeling intimidated, if you're feeling like you don't know what to say, it's okay. Just comment. Someone else has already created those posts. You just have to give your point of view. What's your perspective? And those voices are always welcome.
And these people need to see you. And the only way to be more visible from the 25 people that are reacting to it is to be the 1 or 2 people who are commenting on it. Think about that. The whole goal is to be visible. And so commenting really boosts that visibility and creates conversations. Can you imagine if Mindy put out a post and she had all these reactions and no comments, and then Jeff or I were adding a comment? We appreciate that. So it's really helping you stand out from everybody else.
Absolutely. It's not, it's a great gift to anyone who's a creator, to have people comment on what they've created. It's a huge gift for us. So Carrie is agreeing. Carrie, would you like to unmute yourself and add to the conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And I will tell you that it's incredible the people that you can meet. And not only that, and I've gotten business from just commenting. But building relationships is so critical to what we're trying to do on LinkedIn. You just never know what kind of door that's going to open. And so even when you're job searching, that's everything. And that can make such a huge difference. And it's not always the person that you're talking to specifically, but they could know someone that you have no idea who that person is. So that's why this is so important. And Deanna, you're spot on. And I've actually personally experienced it like you, Mindy. I have made incredible relationships just by making comments and sharing information. And it's a super powerful tool. And we're so fortunate to have such an incredible community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very fortunate.
And Carrie's a great commenter. And she and I met. Carrie was commenting on my posts. I never met her before. And then all of a sudden we started having a conversation because we agree about a lot of things and we are in the same space. And so we have a lot to talk about, right?
We do.
Absolutely. So, I appreciate that, and we return the favor to each other for sure.
Absolutely. You know, and the only thing I would say is that it's about supporting each other and helping each other. And that's a big part of building that relationship. And so when you do that, people see that and they notice that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you, Deanna, but I will always, if someone makes a comment on one of my posts, I always respond to those comments, which
Oh,
I think
yeah.
is,
Yeah. Then it's just, I mean, if you don't, then it's a one-sided conversation. I go back into old posts because that's been happening a lot on LinkedIn lately is the old posts are still hanging out there and in the feed. And you go back in the old posts and make sure that those people are replied to as well. So yeah, it's very important that people know that it's a two-way conversation and you're not just talking to the wall.
exactly. And recently it's been as though when I switched to the recent instead of the most relevant, it's not always the most recent that pops up anymore. And I don't know, maybe
Mhm.
Jeff knows or Mac knows if something has changed about that recent toggle. It doesn't seem to work the same as before because I'm very mindful of people who are commenting on my posts. And so I want to
Yeah.
make sure that I don't miss anyone. And like Deanna just said, sometimes a week later will come and I'll see someone new that has commented that I didn't even know about in the first, hour or so, which is when a lot of the action happens.
Sometimes it takes shutting down LinkedIn and bring it back up in order to reboot it a little bit too. Because I haven't had as many problems with recent as I have just with scrolling through and seeing feeds, seeing stories, content in here that is weeks old. And this one, in fact, I had to scroll down quite a few to actually see something that was written a month ago, but it was underneath something that was written 2 minutes ago. So I think they're working on it. But the fact that I'm seeing a 1 month ago post in my feed, I mean, I don't, it's okay. It just shows that there is a lifespan on your LinkedIn content. This is not Facebook. This is not TikTok. This is not Instagram. There is a long lifespan on everything that you're putting out there. Weeks after I posted about being in the job search, I was still getting comments. So never underestimate the longevity that your content has.
And I'm gonna add on to that about not underestimating. It is remarkable to me how many times someone will say to me, Mindy, I've been following you for a while, and I really like what you have to say. And I look back and no comments, no
Nope.
even reactions.
Nope.
They've just been following. And
Nope.
so what I always say is, whatever we put out there in the universe, on LinkedIn or wherever, we need to be mindful that we are impacting people, whether or not they come in and say something or not, because they remember. And, I have someone who said to me, I've been following you for like a year. Wow. And you never commented.
Yep.
It seems funny to me, but it happens more often than not.
It does. It does. The subject of my LinkedIn newsletter, my monthly LinkedIn newsletter tomorrow is just that, what Mindy was talking about. The fact that even if they don't comment, even if they don't react, they're watching. And you just never can underestimate the power of this platform because you attract people who are following you and they'll reach out when they want to.
Exactly. And I think that's a good thing for job seekers to understand. When I work with job seekers, I always recommend, finding people that are in the companies that you're targeting and start commenting on their posts, because you want to stand out, right? You don't want to just be one of the stack of resumes that they're looking at. You want to be standing out. And so if you are one of those commenters on someone who's in that company that is posting, they're going to remember your name. They're going to say, oh, Jeff Young. Yeah, I know him. He was commenting on my post the other day, and it makes you special. It helps you to stand out.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't see any questions. Am I missing some questions? That's so shocking.
There's got to be questions that you guys are thinking about. So if
There
if you
must
don't
be.
want to say it, you can put it into the chat for sure. I've been asked pretty much every single question known to man about LinkedIn. And it's, I mean, I just really like the platform. I think that's why I'm here so often, is I just really enjoy all of the people that I've gotten to meet. I mean, remarkable people, and it's just positive compared to other social media platforms. It's just you get a very positive vibe from people.
And also I find people to be extremely generous and helpful.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I will often do a spotlight on one of my job seekers who
Nice.
is looking, and I want to generate interest in that person's skill, experience. And so many people will respond and say, oh, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's have a chat about what you're doing. We'd love to, help you. So I just find the community very, very generous, and not, just, it's kind of not surprising. So I count on it now. But people are good, and people want to help. And if they can, they will. And that's why I encourage you all to put your information into the chat again,
Yeah.
so that we start building that community. And the Accelerator Career Group has really grown. And so each one of you, if you're not currently in that group, it's a private LinkedIn group, definitely ask me, talk to me, and I will get you in there, because we put a lot of information in there for sure.
Mindy, can we ask everyone who's here to unmute and say what they're looking for and one thing about LinkedIn? Either something that they have a question about, or if something positive, something negative, one thing about LinkedIn. Maybe can we do it that way?
We can try.
Awesome.
Anyone who would like to participate, unmute, and we'll see how we do with the.
I mean, with job seekers, you guys have to come out and say what you're looking for, or else Mindy and I are not going to know. And I have a huge network, and I would love to start making those connections for people. So you just need to just come out there and help.
Who would like to just tell us what you're looking for, and one thing that you have learned about LinkedIn today?
We got some shy people.
We got some shy people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mac wants to help. Mac, would you like to say something?
Well, there's so many golden nuggets that both Mindy and Deanna have dropped in there that seem logical. They seem obvious, but I don't see people actually doing this. And when they do, they get massive results. I mean, this whole thing about adding valuable comment. Please don't do comments like great post, nice post, thumbs up, because LinkedIn has started discounting those as invaluable comments, even though on the app it actually gives them as the defaults to kind of click on. But adding a valuable comment on your target audience, whether it's the recruiters or the companies that you want to work with, and like you said about finding those individuals within their company that you can go and support, just asking a valuable question. If they do a post about a new launch or something that's changed in the organization or something you want to be involved in, and you've got a little bit of knowledge on that, just by adding a comment saying, hey, I saw this was happening within the marketplace. What do you think about X, or what do you think about Y? Don't worry about the author responding, because anybody else who engages or responds is an opportunity to get you into other companies, because if they work in your target audience, they probably know people in their competitor organizations who are also pretty keen. So just dropping those comments, it is so valuable, because as you say, everybody does the like because that's easy.
Right.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. So if you want to stand out, be very mindful. I've got, if I can help in any other way with, yourself, Deanna or Mindy, just giving advice to job seekers. There's so many things that people can learn just to stand out, and everything you've covered today is, kickstart.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mac. Appreciate you being here and your conversation for sure. We have a question in the chat. And anyone can answer who knows. And I apologize, E. Hollander, I don't know what your first name is. Can you, if you're too shy to say it, can you put it into the chat?
About that.
Elliot. And the LinkedIn and the URL, it's Elliot.
Yeah, with one T.
Got it.
Elliot, okay, I see you. Okay, Elliot. So Elliot's asking a question about, you know, that LinkedIn has made a limit to 5 connections a month for the freemium or the free version of LinkedIn.
Yes.
So do you have examples or how you can help people to connect to lots of people if they only have those 5 limit, the 5?
Okay, here's where I'm going to say that not everyone needs to connect on LinkedIn. And what I mean by that is the follow button. If the follow button is on, I would rather follow someone than connect, because you might not necessarily need to send a direct message to that person. So Mac and I can follow each other and see all the content, and we don't necessarily need to connect. So save those connections for when it really matters. Yes, LinkedIn wants all of us to buy premium. They do. That's the way they're pushing. And often I'll get to my monthly limit and I'll be like, oh, well, I'm done with the connections. I can just follow. And if they want to connect with me, you're going to go look at that person's profile, Elliot. And if they want to connect with you, they can then send the connection that way too. But you can save those connections, connect requests for the people that really matter. Follow in the meantime. And I've had people follow me and then I go look at their profile and I'm like, oh, let's connect. So it's really everyone who's in this room, you do not need to sign up for LinkedIn Premium. I have done the majority of my growth here without premium. Like I had premium in the off and on in that first year or so with 2018 to 2019. That was it. I have tried it a couple times through the trial and I'm like, okay, I still don't need it. and Jeff uses the free version too. So don't let anybody tell you you need to pay for this platform. And yeah, eventually people from LinkedIn are just going to like alienate me for saying, but that's the way I feel.
Can I ask a question just to clarify?
Yeah.
Because on the free version, it's up to 100 connections a month with 5 messages.
5 messages.
So you can send up to, yeah. So
right.
Just in case, because when I saw 3 connections a month, I thought, hold on.
Yes. So to Elliot's point, you can send those people connection requests that are not personalized, and you can save those 5 or 3, whatever it ends up being, personalized connection requests for the people that really matter. So there's with the clarification. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. Just a nice workaround on that one is if somebody responds to you and you're going to connect with them, respond to them in the comments saying, hey,
yes,
check out my connection request.
Yes.
And you overcome that issue.
Yep, absolutely.
And then they can't hide either from the connection request because you've already made it quite.
Yeah, you're making sure that everybody knows.
Thank you, Mac. 2 other things I will add to this. Number 1, Jeff just reminded us that when you have someone that you know you want to follow and learn about their content, you should always double ring their bell. The top right corner is a little bell. I think originally you could just ring it once, but now you have to ring it twice. LinkedIn likes to make these little tiny changes that keep us in business, I guess, because they don't know. So if you have rung people's bell and you're still not seeing their content, you need to go back into their profile and click it again, and you'll see options. The top one will be all, and then the one that's default now is relevant, and I think that means nothing. I think you see none of the relevant. Max shaking his head, right? I think I see nothing on relevant, and I think on the ones that you want to see constantly, you only see about 50% anyway. You definitely don't see them all. Jeff's also shaking his head. Good, I have confirmation, 100%.
And I can actually share my screen so that you guys see what Mindy's talking about, because sometimes visual really helps. Here we are. So I went into Andy's because I wanted to double check that I was double ringing his bell because he just commented on a post. So I go in to click his bell, and this is the pop-up screen I got. Let me show you it again. So I'm clicking on the bell. It goes to most relevant, and it goes to off, and it goes to all. So I want to see I want to be notified every single time. And notifications should be the first thing you're looking at on LinkedIn. Notifications, messages, those are the two things. Because the home feed can just suck you in, and then you become a scrolling maniac, and nobody wants to be a scrolling maniac. So it's really just about being productive and strategic on this. Make the best use of your time and pay attention to notifications and messaging first. Yeah, but it's always good to double check that you've double clicked the bell.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, if you're consistently commenting on people's posts, they're going to want to connect with you, right?
Yep.
So if you are ignoring them, like I have some people who come one time, they'll make a comment, and then I never see them again. Other people consistently comment on my posts, and I know I want to be connected to them. And so
Yep.
I will reach out to people all the time that are doing that. And by the way, sometimes people come from, like, I connected with somebody, oh my gosh, a post that I did last week, someone commented on who I used to work with years and years ago, and we haven't been in touch in so long. And I said, wow, thanks for commenting, how you doing? And we got off, we made a phone call, and we started talking. We're both in very similar businesses, but it's such a fabulous way to reconnect to people.
Absolutely.
And just, by talking to people and being out there and
Yep.
keeping yourself top of mind.
Yes.
I love the phrase, you need to be top of mind for people. There are a billion plus on LinkedIn. If you want to be top of mind to your future employer, you need to be out there. You need to put aside some time. And I don't care if it's 15 minutes a day or an hour a day, you've got to put aside some time to get out there, comment, start posting, and being top of mind for people so they remember you.
Absolutely. So I had a conversation with someone and was in the same circles with this person back in 2012, 2013, 2014. She followed me on LinkedIn for more than 10 years before reaching out this past spring and asking me to help her on LinkedIn. So it just shows the power of this platform. Just like out of the blue, she just sent me a direct message. So don't let anybody say that people aren't watching, because they are. And to Mindy's point, the more that you comment on people's content, the more that you're training the algorithm to then see what you really want to see.
Mhm.
Because if you're finding that you're scrolling through that home feed and you are not finding content to comment on, that means that you're not training the algorithm enough. So you need to go and look for that content. You need to be strategic with it so that you
Deanna,
can
we
then.
can't hear you.
Oh, am I that? Do you hear me now?
Yeah,
Something
we can hear
happened
you.
to your mic. I don't know what.
We can hear Deanna.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's about being strategic with commenting on the people that you really support and you really admire, because otherwise you're just LinkedIn's going to keep showing you the same stuff. And these 3 dots are very powerful. Let me share the screen one more time. Now, here's my friend G. I'm not going to hide her, but I'm going to show you as an example. So that G is the first one that pops up in my top. See how the sort by top or sort by recent. So I'm not going to change that because I want to show. So I'm going to go to the 3 dots and unfollow. Now it gives me 2 people to unfollow. If you don't like the content, you can either unfollow Anna, who liked it up here, or you can unfollow G, who originally posted. Now I'm not going to do either one of those because I want to see G in my feed, but you get my point. You can train this feed to unfollow. Here's an ad. What do I want to do with this ad? I want to hide it. And why? Because it's annoying or not interesting. Boom, ad's gone. So don't complain about what you see, because you are in the driver's seat. You can change it.
Absolutely true. And my feed right now is nice and clean. I don't see the ads because I've gotten rid of most of those ads. I see people that I want to see, and you can definitely train the algorithm for sure.
Yep.
Well, this has been fabulous, Deanna. I really thank you for your time, for your energy, for your wisdom, for your strategy. And I think we should all make a commitment. You know what? I'm going to ask you in the chat. If you can commit to spending 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn, I'd like to see a C in the chat. If you can commit to 15 minutes a day to doing something on LinkedIn, let's see some C's in there. Yes, I want to see some C's. You can give me 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn and start making changes. A C plus, there you go, man. Yes, you can commit to 15 minutes a day. I know
That's
we're
it.
busy.
That's
but
all you
do
need.
15 minutes. I'm a morning person. I always do it in the mornings. Jeff knows 7 a.m. I'm probably on LinkedIn. He is also. Other people are more in the evening. You got to find your tribe and you got to figure out what works for you. But you need to be there. You can't be, if you're not in it, you can't win it. That's for sure.
Nice.
Deanna, thank you so much for all you do. I wish you much success. Thank you to everyone who showed up today. Please stop by my post tomorrow. I post always at 8 a.m. on Monday through Friday generally. And in tomorrow's post, you will see the link to the replay. Hooray. And so if you missed anything, I think Nancy came late, a couple people came late, you'll be able to check out the replay there. And it will also be on my profile after a little bit. I thank you all for being here. Go out and enjoy this gorgeous July day. Go forth and conquer. Start interacting with those people you want to connect with that are your future employers and make your name known. Get your point of view is important to all of us. Again, I thank you for being here. I'm honored to be your host. Have a great day. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Bye, Deanna. Thank you so much.